Allah is not just the object of worship, He's the object of devotion. He's the object of fulfilling love. Like the love that doesn't leave you in pain, that love doesn't leave you wanting more. How many romantic poetries, ghazal, qasida, shi'r, about your love is only pain, but since it's you, I'll accept the pain. You know, I love how it hurts and all that stuff. Because love is always associated with some kind of pain. But with Allah, it's filled with fulfillment, contentment, sakina, right? And that's what Allah Azza wa Jalla is describing His name with. I recognize that I am not able to control everything in a situation. So whatever's out of my control, I'm handing it over to Allah. Allah who controls the east and the west. Allah who there's no ilah, no one to turn to except Him. Therefore, Allah says, now take Him as your wakil. Everything that is out of your control, leave it to Him. Your sabh is in your control. Your standing in the night is in your control, isn't it? But there are things, Allah is now by saying, فَاتَّخِذُوا وَكِيلًا, Allah is actually saying there are other things that are completely out of your control. How will someone react to the da'wah of the Prophet ﷺ? Is that in his control? No. Will someone become violent with him? Will someone accept and then reject later? Or someone reject and accept later? None of that is under his control. The thing that's being taught, the first lesson that's being taught in tawakkul to Allah is that human beings can never control other human beings. And we can never control anybody else's hearts or their minds, except that fact. Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghribi, La ilaha illa huwa fattakhidhu wakila. The master of the east and the west. Allah just mentioned night and day, right? Remember Allah at night? And the daytime you have all kinds of sabh. Remember Allah? And cut yourself off. And by the way, cutting yourself off even in the day, one part of that. Now Allah will actually put that to the test. There's going to be these two ayat, 8 and 9, are the lesson. And then the test, whether you have really learned that lesson, is going to be 10 and 11. So it's, you know how you have theory and practical in science? You study the scientific theory and then you study the practical. So 8 and 9 are kind of the theory. And then 10 and 11 are going to be the first practical. Like, did you really embody these? Here's how you know. But anyway, Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghribi, the master of the east and the master of the west. The east and west are important to mention because the east is the start of the day and the west is the west is the sunset. So it's the start of the night. And the entire reference before was day and night. Right? So Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghribi, the change in how your life looks in the day and how your life looks at the night. And doesn't matter if it's day or night, they may be different, but both of them have one thing in common, the dhikr of Allah. The dhikr of Allah looks different in the day, the dhikr of Allah looks different in the night, but He's the Rabb of the east and the Rabb of the west, the Rabb of the sunrise and the Rabb of the master of the sunset. Mashriq means east and west. Mashriq also means sunrise and sunset. So He's master of night and day. فيصح أن يكون الاستيعاب جهات الأرض. It can also mean, east and west means the entire land. Like if the king says, I am the king of the east to the west. What's he saying? I'm king of the entire land. Right? So Allah is saying, Allah is the master of the east and the west, as if to say that this entire region is going to be under the dominion of Allah, is going to be under the rule of Allah's religion. It's coming. The victory of Allah is coming. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. You'll see. Because right now, the east to west in Hijaz is filled with arbab, different gods. But time is coming. And how will you know that? La ilaha illa huwa. There's no one to be worshipped, loved, adored, obeyed in any way, shape, or form except He. We're all familiar with La ilaha illallah. But I'm just going to give you a quick note on the word ilah that you may not be familiar with. Ilah comes from the word wala. Wala, and wala actually means an object of intense love. An object of intense love. And a kind of love, when you have it, you don't feel the need for anything else. When a love is fully self-sufficient, it's actually called wala or wuluh in Arabic. And from it we get the idea of the ilah or the ma'luh also in some readings of this word in Arabic. And that suggests that Allah is not just the object of worship, He's the object of devotion. He's the object of fulfilling love. Like the love that doesn't leave you in pain, that love doesn't leave you wanting more. How many romantic poetries, ghazal, qasida, shi'r about your love is only pain, but since it's you, I'll accept the pain. You know, I love how it hurts and all that stuff. Because love is always associated with some kind of pain. But with Allah, it's filled with fulfillment, contentment, sakina, right? And that's what Allah Azza wa Jalla is describing His name with. Ilah is also, aliha is also faza'a ilayhi in Arabic. When you run towards somebody when you're desperate. Like, I want you to think of it as whenever you have a problem, there's someone comes in your mind that you want to talk to immediately. Or something great happens and immediately want to text somebody. Guess what just happened, right? This is the person you ran to. One of the meanings of ilah is the one you turn to in any situation. It's just the first one you want to just, and by the way, the Muslims have this naturally, right? Something amazing happens, alhamdulillah. Something bad happens, astaghfirullah, subhanallah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Like we just turn to Allah immediately, and that's actually our acknowledgement of Allah as ilah. And even in our culture. It's a very beautiful thing that we do that. That in any occasion we have an easy way to just turn to Allah and to remember Allah in that way. So anyway, Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghribi la ilaha illa huwa fattakhidhu wakila. Now the second lesson. The first one was cut yourself off. The second lesson is take him as your wakil. Take him as now the word in Arabic is wakil. So let me explain what wakil means. It comes from the word wakal. Wakal means a person who's very weak. Can't do anything themselves. Ajiz. Like, you know, and they're laysa binafid. If you tell them to finish a task, they can't finish the task. You know, like some of your kids. Clean the room. Oh, my back hurts. Right? So they're wakal at that time. And yakilu amrahu ila ghayrihi, what that means is when you say, hey, I can't do it, could you do it for me? I'm incapable of doing this. I'm just going to leave it to you. I'm relying on you to do it. The word wakal was used for a person that is slow or too dumb to do something or too weak to do something. They're doing it too slowly so it didn't get done. They're too dumb so they didn't do it right, or they're too weak to do it. Wakalatin naqa, when a camel is not performing, then the camel is wakal. From it comes the idea of tawakkul. I recognize that I am not able to control everything in a situation. So whatever's out of my control, I'm handing it over to Allah. Allah who controls the east and the west. Allah who there's no ilah, no one to turn to except Him. Therefore, Allah says, now take Him as your wakil. Everything that is out of your control, leave it to Him. Your sabh is in your control. Your standing in the night is in your control, isn't it? But there are things, Allah is now by saying, فَاتَّخِذُوا وَكِيلًا, Allah is actually saying there are other things that are completely out of your control. How will someone react to the da'wah of the Prophet ﷺ? Is that in his control? No. Will someone become violent with him? Will someone accept and then reject later? Or someone reject and accept later? None of that is under his control. The thing that's being taught, the first lesson that's being taught in tawakkul to Allah is that human beings can never control other human beings. And we can never control anybody else's hearts or their minds. Accept that fact. Just internalize, I don't have control. I don't have control. I don't have control over my son. I don't have control over my daughter. I don't have control over my wife. I don't have control over my husband. I have control over myself. Allah will ask me how I use that control. And everything else, Allah, I'm handing control over to who? To Allah. فَاتَّخِذْهُ وَكِيلًا. You do your mission. You're not seeing any results. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam may be doing his da'wah, and every day things are getting more aggressive, like I was mentioning before, and he's not seeing any results. And Allah is saying that's not under your control anyway. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Results are not up to you. Control is not up to you. لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُسَيْطِرٍ. You're not in charge of them. You're not controlling them. Hand that over. This is where human beings have to accept their weakness, their inability. فَاتَّخِذْهُ وَكِيلًا is just like tasbih. In tasbih, we declare the perfection of Allah and our imperfection. In tawakkul, we declare Allah's ability to do something and our inability. We have to accept our lack of control and Allah's complete control. فَاتَّخِذْهُ وَكِيلًا. Take him as someone who you leave your matters to. اتكل. So when you surrender your matter to someone. التوكيل أن تعتمد على غيرك وتجعله نائبا عنك. When you completely leave something in somebody's hands and you don't even think about it anymore. One of my favorite examples of tawakkul in the Quran, practical examples of tawakkul in the Quran, is in Surah Al-Nur. So I'll share that briefly with you. In Surah Al-Nur, there was a rumor about Aisha radiallahu anha. You guys remember? Yeah? Now, the thing with rumors is, maybe one person started it. But does it stay with one person? It goes to 2 people, 2 to 7 people, 7 to 50 people, 50 to 1,000 people. Keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. And by the time you hear it, somebody's saying this about you. You're like, who told you? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. No, tell me who told you. Well, I was at this party and this guy was saying, what did he look like? Oh, he was wearing a t-shirt. Okay, I'm going to find him. And then you find that guy. Hey, so you said something. I didn't say anything. You did. I found out you said, yeah, I did say it. Who told you? And you have in your basement, you've got a picture board and you got a hit list of who told who told who told, because you want to get to the who started this. Can you ever get there? No. And some people didn't say that much bad stuff about you. Some people said a lot about you. Some people spoke little. Some people spoke much. And you're trying to make this fire stop. And the only way you'll make it stop is you're going to go after everyone who said something. You're going to screenshot everybody, right? And collect names and have a hit list, right? Is that possible? No. Is the situation any longer in your control? No, it's not in your control. What does Allah say? لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ مَا اكْتَسَبَ مِنَ الْإِثْمِ. The ones who started this rumor, every one of them will get however much sin they did from this. Some people said a lot, some people said a little. Some people just sat there and listened and said, oh, really? And the people who said, oh, really? They got a little bit sin too. Other people, really, tell me more. They got a little bit more sin. The guy who started the whole thing, وَالَّذِي تَوَلَّى كِبْرَهُ, the one who started the whole thing, he's going to get the biggest. But did Allah say, this is the guy who's getting the biggest? This one's going to get 97%. This one's going to get 50%. This one's going to get 5%. Did Allah tell the believers who did what? No. Basically, Allah is telling us, leave that to me. Leave it alone. That's not for you. That's tawakkul. The word tawakkul is not used in that ayah, but tawakkul is being taught in that ayah, practically. Right? And this is the concept we have to understand. There's the theory, I trust in Allah, I rely on Allah. And people say these things easily, but when it's put to the test, they don't want to lose control. They want to hold on to that control. So, la ilaha illa huwa fattakhidhu wakila. Now, Ibn Ashur on this. وَمِنْ أَهَمِّ التَّفْوِيضِ أَمْرُ الْإِنْتِصَارِ لِمَنْ تَوَكَّلَ عَلَيْهِ. And one of the most important aspects of really leaving things to Allah is when someone hurts you and you want to see them in pain. And like you want to see them pay the price for hurting you. Right? Because this is one of the most common questions I get. Ustad, how come bad people are still happy? Why are you stalking them on Instagram? This person hurt my feelings, and look at the picture they just posted of themselves. It burns us. How come Allah lets them be happy even though they're terrible people? And then people have an even bigger crisis. Ustad, there are some people that are really bad, but then they just do tawbah. And then they start taking care of orphans. And they memorize the whole Quran. But they were really bad. Is Allah just going to just forgive them and I have to be with them in Jannah? I'm like, oh, so how are you sure you're going? No, I'm just saying in case I make it, I don't want to see them. You know what that is? A desire to control the outcome. A desire. You know, if you say Allah is more fair than my concept of fairness, Allah is more wise than my concept of wisdom, Allah knows my feelings better than I even know my feelings, Allah cares for my heart more than I care for my heart, then it's easier for me to let Allah handle that without Allah explaining it to me. Allah will do it. Ya Allah, I know you're going to do it. Can you tell me exactly how you're going to do it? Is she going to fall off the stairs, or is there a bus that's going to accidentally just like, how's it going to, can you just, because I just want to feel better. No. If you trust Allah, then let it go. I like to give you silly examples so you can understand the concept. If you trust someone's cooking, don't stand over their shoulder and say, "Are you going to add more salt, or that's it?" Like, if you trust her, just go walk away. You trust it. If you're trusting Allah with something, then no longer concern yourself with it. It's in someone's control who will handle this better than anybody else could handle it. Then you should be completely content. Now you're not worried about who said what, who's doing this. Is Allah going to do justice with these people or those people or those people? No. Am حسب الذين يعملون السيئات أن يسبقونا ساء ما يحكمون. Are people who thinking they did wrong, you think they got away from us? What a terrible decision they made. So he's saying one of the biggest aspects of tawakkul in Allah is letting it go, letting the need for revenge or vengeance or justice go. فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما بلغ قول المشركين فيه اغتم لذلك. When Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم heard what the mushrikeen were saying about him, he's a liar, he's a poet, he's a magician, he's a kahin. When he heard these things, it upset him. وقد روي أن ذلك سبب تسمله من موجدة الحزن. And that's why he was wrapping himself in a blanket, if you remember the beginning of the surah. فأمره الله بأن لا يعتمد إلا عليه. So Allah told him, don't let this worry you, because who's handling that situation? Allah, let them talk. That's Allah's, that's not you to deal with, that's Allah to deal with. That should not worry you. رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه. After Maghrib, you're turning to Allah. In the Mashriq, they're talking about you. And even when you're talking to Allah, they're holding their meetings on how to kill you or how to hurt you or how to end your mission. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, that's not your concern. وهذا تكفل بالنصر ولذلك عقب بقوله واصبر على ما يقول. So which is then leading us to the practical next. I'm going to skip that one. But one thing I will show you though. In this ayah we see La ilaha illa huwa, which is a statement of our declaration of worship of Allah. Everybody knows that. And immediately after, it's followed by فَاتَّخِذْهُ وَكِيلًا. And other places in the Quran, فَاعْبُدْهُ وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَيْهِ. Worship him and rely on him. Even in the Fatiha, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ is about worship. إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ, seeking his help, is about tawakkul, isn't it? So what are we learning? The first element of worship. Once you enter into the worship of Allah, one of the first manifestations that I've truly entered into the worship of Allah, is I learned to let some things be handled by Allah that are out of my control, and I just say I completely have trust in Him. He's the only one. Allah al-Musta'an. That's it. It's good enough for me.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح 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 حي على لا